The average person has not only no idea, but no way of knowing what the truth is. So the guy who is now in custody for attempted murder against the Republican nominee, the former U.S. President, Donald Trump, that guy has been interviewed countless times by every big media outlet in the United States. He's got, a criminal record the length of your arm, 20 charges, including possession of weapons of mass destruction. And then the piece describes the contact he's had with members of Congress and their staffs and other U.S. government agencies.
Which it wouldn't be the first time that CIA has done something like this, as they did it with JFK.
All I'm saying, they're going to get I'm just...
Blob does not want this information out about second Trump assassin, or Ryan Routh as he's called, allegedly, because apparently that's who it is. Regardless of how you feel about Trump and everything aside, don't you find it pretty peculiar and ironic that there's been a second assassination attempt on the life of an incumbent president in just 2 months? Isn't it just a little peculiar? It's pretty mind-boggling, isn't it? Especially since there was arguably a second shooter on the water tower during the first Trump assassination, which I'll give you guys a look at the footage here for that. So you see basically right there on the screen, and it'll show you guys that they counts out for a second and fade away. You can see it that they've gone, and it ducks back in. That's apparently a second shooter. I rendered and re-upgraded that clip as many times as I possibly could to get it as clear as possible for you guys, but it definitely looks like there's potentially something up there doing that. Because I don't know, to me, you're not really going to see a shadow from that far away on top of a water tower. You feel me? It just doesn't, physically, it wouldn't make sense. I can't think of any reason why you'd see the shadow on the top little bulb of the water tower. You feel me? It just doesn't make sense to me. Also, Edward Snowden, that this man's social media account records and all of his accounts that he posted on were fairly interesting and something to pay attention to. Let's take a look at that and arguably the potential CIA connections that this man had. And that's not to mention the fact of the matter that Facebook or Meta has already started scrubbing quite a bit of this too, for these connections of this Ryan Routh guy, or Routh. But before we get into that though, cue intro.
This guy is a private American citizen who traveled to Ukraine on his own dime, to help recruit civilian soldiers to fight for Ukraine and Afghan special forces. He was recruiting on his Facebook page. Here's an archive of all of his tweets that look pretty damn automated to me. They pretty much all look like this. But I grabbed everyone that he followed on Twitter before they deleted it. He only followed 60. And right down at the bottom of that list, which I think indicates his first follow, is this girl named Sue Kim, who is ex-CIA, along with some other very interesting things. But her account is private, meaning why does he follow her? I've been digging around, and one of my followers said that they found her in the people that follow him back. He says that she was at the bottom of his followed list, meaning that she followed him right when he made the account. That would make sense, seeing as she's at the bottom of his following list, follows too. I mean, every asset needs a handler. And when you go through some of these other affiliations here, you get what is essentially the CIA training grounds at Johns Hopkins University. It explores the relationship between politics and the many kinds of military power, from the use of terror by small non-state groups to the threatened use of nuclear weapons. Its director is John McLaughlin, who is literally an ex-acting director of the CIA and ex-deputy director of the CIA. 3-decade career at the CIA. David is third on the list of people at the top of this institution at the university. 30-year career in Army Special Forces, various special operations, invading various countries, as well as Operation Enduring Freedom. You get the idea. Anyways, Rand Corporation. That's a military industrial complex think tank, kind of like the Atlantic Council. And LMI org. Yeah, that's like a military industrial complex education and training program as well.
You guys have to admit that these connections are pretty interesting, at least a little bit, right? Despite how early on it is, given the second assassination attempt on Trump. But isn't it a tad bit just interesting that a private US citizen would go out on their own free time, and especially in our modern economy and how shitty it is, out to Ukraine to try to recruit citizens to fight in the Russia-Ukraine war? It's just a little interesting.
Doing here in Ukraine?
My initial goal was to come and fight. I think, everybody around the globe should be motivated to come here and support the Ukrainians and support the army, no matter what gender, age, anything. Everybody should be here supporting the army. But I'm 56, so initially they were like, well, I have no military experience, so they're like, you're not an ideal candidate. So they said, not right this minute. So plan B was to come here to Kyiv and promote getting more people here. We need thousands and thousands and thousands of people here fighting with the Ukrainians. We need, we've got 190 countries around the world, and we need thousands from all of them. If the governments will not send their official military, then we civilians have to pick up the torch and make this thing happen.
But anyways, given what we've seen thus far, the connections of this man, plus it seems like he's a man who promotes the same simplistic black and white sort of mentality around this whole issue, despite all the evidence that NATO/the US have broken the Cold War pact several times, and then also usurped the Ukrainian government just like they did in the Middle East, and then also, sabotage a peace deal which was actually in the process of being signed with the previous Prime Minister Boris Johnson, just like the, declining in trust legacy/mainstream media. First ex-follower was an ex-CIA agent with quite a number of interesting connections. They have ties to military-style think tanks or military think tanks like RAND Corp, as well as training center at Johns Hopkins University for stuff like that, who happens to have the top three heads, or like one of the top three heads, being a former head of the CIA for a couple of months, and then also the former deputy director of the CIA for 4 years, who's also, a serving member of the CIA, or was a serving member of the CIA for 3 decades. And also, mind you, that was under Bush Jr., by the way, who was a very corrupt person and also a Yale student as well, too, which, if you guys listen to one of our last 2 videos, we talked about the connection between, secret societies, Ivy League schools like Yale, Stanford, etc., and corruption and corrupt politicians, etc. Specifically the Skulls and Bones Society with the Bush family, you feel me? But like bro said in the video though, every fucking asset has to have its CIA handler. This is what we've seen so far. Do you guys have anything you think should be added to all this? Because to me, it's pretty peculiar and interesting, and definitely seems like it could be linked to the CIA, which it wouldn't be the first time that CIA has done something like this, as they did it with JFK.
All I'm saying, they're gonna get I'm just...
And without belaboring the point, I'm using this as just one example among a countless number of examples where reality is completely distorted and the average person has not only no idea but no way of knowing what the truth is. So the guy who is now in custody for attempted murder against the Republican nominee, the former US president, Donald Trump, that guy has been interviewed countless times by every big media outlet in the United States. He's got, a criminal record the length of your arm, 20 charges, including possession of weapons of mass destruction. The New York Times didn't bother to learn any of that before they held him up as a freedom fighter in Ukraine, where he was living. And then the piece describes the contact he's had with members of Congress and their staffs and other US government agencies. And you're like, wait a second, that's the same guy who brought a rifle with a scope to a golf course in South Florida to murder Donald Trump, and he's had all these contacts with US government agencies? Like, I don't know what that's about, but I think it's time to find out. No?
What do you guys think? Is this second assassin or alleged assassin, a CIA asset connected to the CIA, etc. Let us know in the comment section down below. We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, opinions, and concerns on this stuff. Either way, though, my dudes, I appreciate you guys very much. And as usual, don't forget to hit that like, destroy the shit out of the subscribe button. It really does mean a lot to me, and also helps us to get further up in the algorithms here. So that way people are, you know, more likely to see all the bullshit going on out there in the world and less of the mainstream and legacy media's bullshit lies, which is why they're declining in trust. And, you know, content keeps it 1,000,000% real with them. If you guys did make it to this point in the video, go and leave the word connection in the comment section down below to let me know that you made it to the end and that you guys are the 1,000,000% tribe. As usual, though, too, my dudes, if you guys would like, feel free to join us live every Wednesday and Friday from 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. Central Time here on YouTube or over on Twitch, Rumble, etc. You get to join us in the discussions such as this on conspiracy facts, you feel me, and everything the legacy media and our corrupt governments are not telling us, as well as, you know, dark humor memes and playing games such as Pokemon Unite, Fortnite, etc. Whatever really floats the mood, you feel me? And, you know, just vibe out and have a good time with us. But until next time, though, my dudes, please don't forget to live long and prosper, take care and peace, keep it 1,000,000% real, and as always, fuck the system. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Z-Tribe. Yo!
The people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flag.